Welcome to Section 2 of this course. In this chapter, we will look at the basic settings of the software, the management of athletes' profiles, and the management of groups. We will also see how to create a test or battery of tests, how to display and compare results. First, however, we will carry out the configuration of the system and see in detail what can be managed with a system meter with several configurations. Let's start. When the software opens, you are on the main screen. This is characterized by 3 levels of menus, one consecutive to the other. The first level is the selection menu at the top. Divided in 2 parts, it shows on the left side the index of icons that allow you to manage patients, test, results, biofeedback, and the module dedicated to the gait muscles and functions, which we will see in detail later. On the right-hand side are the icons utility, help, and quit. The icon menu is divided into a subsection that allows you to manage the different configurations and activities through different selections. Patients selection. This section opens a second menu that allows you to insert or edit one or more patients and to insert or edit one or more groups. Test selection. Allows you to immediately run a test, define or modify a test, define or modify a protocol. Results selection. Allows you to enter the database containing all test results. Biofeedback selection. Allows you to access a test section inspired by the video feedback function, where the user can see some basic test parameters in real time on a second monitor. Gait muscles and functions. In this module, we find a general video representation where an animated anatomical model shows the activation of muscles in the various phases of walking plus other elements that we will see in detail later. On the right side of the menu, we find the section that allows us to configure our system. This very important section will be covered shortly in the Features section. Through the Help button, we can go to the manual with all the general information indexed by topic. The first system configuration is very important because it allows the first system settings to be made. This can be done in the Utilities section and is divided into several selections. Basic settings. Languages. The language can be changed at any time during program execution. Select the desired language from the drop-down menu and press Save. Unit of measurement allows you to set the type of unit of measurement for displaying the test output values. Contact time and flight time settings. Include minimum contact time. Allows you to set a minimum contact time in milliseconds. If the system records a contact time less than this value, it is considered incorrect and added to the associated flight time, usually the previous one. This control can be enabled or disabled by entering the value 0. Minimum flight. It allows to set a minimum flight time in milliseconds. If the system records a flight time lower than this value, it is considered wrong and added to the associated contact time. This control can be enabled or disabled by entering the value 0. Maximum flight time. This allows a maximum flight time to be set in milliseconds. If the flight time is higher, it is considered incorrect. This is, for example, useful for a round-trip test, where the athlete leaves the measurement area, turns around and returns. Reaction time settings. Includes reaction time interval. Indicates the time interval in milliseconds within which the reaction signal should be given randomly. Type of acoustic signal. Allows you to choose whether to generate the acoustic signal using the sound card, which may not be present, or the internal loudspeaker, which is generally always available on personal computers. Video. After connecting the webcams to the PC USB port and installing the drivers, you can test the camera and configure exposure, focus, and other more complex settings that may be useful in particular lighting conditions. Up to 2 webcams can be installed and configured simultaneously. Other configurations concerning the video part concern the end video acquisition time. This is the time that elapses from the end of the test to the end of the video acquisition. In practice, a number of extra seconds are recorded beyond the end of the test. The acquisition format allows you to choose the video saving format, which can be ASF, more compact and visible with Windows Media Player, AVI, also visible with other players, but less efficient in compression, and JPEG, the most compressed and efficient of all. Furthermore, depending on the webcam connected, it allows you to choose different sampling resolutions from the lowest 320 by 240 up to Full HD. With first step preview if enabled, in walk tests visual confirmation is requested via a pop-up of the starting foot. Finally, preview time represents the number of seconds during which the window is kept open before closing automatically. The second selection concerns the OptoGait hardware test. In this section, you can check if the connected bars are connected and working. If the webcams are connected, the live image should also be displayed. In this section, as mentioned, it is possible to check the connection with the OptoJump bars. Moreover, in case of connection of more bars, the software shows automatically the length of the system and the total number of bars. To start the test, press Execute. The test continues until stop is pressed. If there are no interrupted LED, the test ends with a positive result. If there are any interruptions of the LED due to the need to insert jumping boards or other useful tools in the system to evaluate the athlete, it is possible to exclude the interrupted section so as not to affect the analysis and results. By pressing Execute and interrupting the LED manually, you can simulate this. Some LED turn red, indicating the signal interruption caused by the foot insertion. If you press Stop, the software will show the interrupted LED in the table below, indicating that the test did not have a positive result due to this intentional interruption. This test is also very useful to check, especially in the case of outdoor installations of long bar combinations. If there are any obstacles, such as leaves, stones, hills, between the transmitting and receiving bar. If the obstacles cannot be removed, they can be excluded via the software. All interruptions of those LED will not be taken into account for the test. As you can see in the video below left, the system warns you that the LED filter is active. In case you want to reset the system, due to, for example, removing the obstacle inside the bars or something else, you have to press the button at the bottom of the screen and deactivate the filter. Afterwards, press the hardware reset button to clear the system and LED of any previously set blocks. The third selection is a very important section and concerns database management. All tests, athletes, and results are saved in a predefined database located in a very specific section of the PC where the software is installed. The folder path where the default files are saved is shown in the highlighted line. When creating new databases, the windows on the right allow you to create, select, import, and export all databases saved in a specific file path. Database management is useful in case you want to divide up specific work groups or specific tests related to your activity. The Devices section allows OptoGait to be combined with other systems such as Jico or Witty. In this example, we will see the pairing of Jico with the OptoGait system. The device to be paired must be turned on and searched with the new search selection. The software will show the available device. With the active selection, you will see the selected device in the active devices screen ready to use. The software also allows you to name the device, to activate it in case of subsequent pairings, or to remove it if necessary. With OptoGait, you can manage a number of external devices like heart rate monitors and electromyography devices. During the test session, you can only activate one registered heart rate monitor at a time. To do this, go to the Device section, initialize the association, and press the Activate button. From the Utilities menu, you can configure the display of the called Sport Zone on the graphs of the tests performed. 3 settings are possible. 5 colored bands with customizable names, each representing a percentage of the athlete's maximum heart rate. 5 colored bands with customizable names, each of which is a percentage of the athlete's resting heart rate. 3 colored bands with customizable names below, within, and above the set lower and upper limits respectively. In the event of changes or customizations, the Save button will enable the changes to take effect. The last 3 software selections allow you to view and define software versions. Under Check Update, it is possible to see if updates are available. All updates are free of charge and available through the software itself or through our website in the download section. Under About sections, you can view software version and minimum system requirements for the computer. Finally, the Reset to Default Values option allows you to reset the system to its initial setting. The first level is the selection menu, has two parts. The first we have just seen on the right-hand side, which allows you to set the system. The second part on the left-hand side characterized by the icons Patients, Tests, Results, and finally for carrying out tests using the biofeedback system. The first section, Patients, is divided into two parts. These two subsections allow you to enter or edit a patient and enter or edit a group. To enter a patient, you must enter the first section. Inside you will find a table with some patient if previously loaded. Otherwise, you will need to insert a patient before defining a test. There are two ways to enter them. The first is via the new patient icon on the right-hand side of the window. This selection will open a tab with the athlete's data to be entered. In addition to first name, surname, date of birth, and gender, you can also enter other data of possible interest, such as height, weight, sport, discipline, and many others. Important, because they affect the quality of the test results, are the entries foot length and foot width. These data represent the length and width of the athlete's foot in LED of the system. If you do not know this measurement, you can take it by connecting the system and selecting Acquire Foot Size on the right-hand side of the menu. In addition to the data, it is also possible to take a photo of the athlete directly with the webcam. Once all data has been entered via the Save button, the athlete is saved and archived within the system. The second selection, Insert Modify Group, allow you to enter or edit a group. This page is divided into two levels. The first level at the top allows you to view the structure of the various groups and subgroups. The second level at the bottom presents a table displaying all the athletes in the database, which is useful for managing athletes across the entire architecture of groups and subgroups. A group may in fact contain several sections within which the patient are divided. In a sample group, for example, for Physio 1, it is possible to create different subgroups according to rehabilitation programs. To create a subgroup, as shown in the video, you must select the main group, click on the icon on the right-hand side New Group, enter the name, in this case ligamentous instability, and press Confirm. In this way, it is possible to create an infinity of groups and subgroups useful for carrying out in-depth analyses of results referring to groups of people with the same characteristics or roles. There are two ways to manage athletes according to this section. The first in the Patient section. By selecting the Patients tab, it is possible through the Add to a Group icon to choose which group to assign the patient to and confirm. The second way is via the Group Management page. You select the relevant group or subgroup, then drag the patient's name into the desired subgroup. Remember, a patient may be included in several groups or subgroups. Once the patient have been entered into the database and the group section has been created and fine-tuned, the tests can be prepared. Entering the menu, we immediately see that the main page is divided into three sections. The first allows you to run a test directly, just selecting patient and test from a list. The second and third selections allow you to define or modify tests or protocols. At least for the first test sessions, it is recommended to access test definition and modification. There are three menu levels in this section. The first on the left of the screen allows you to filter or search for tests contained in the adjacent column. Furthermore, it is possible to filter the different lists divided into predefined, customized, and protocol tests. To do so, simply place the corresponding flag on the Show or Hide icon. In addition, on the right side of the screen, a series of icons manage the possible creation of new tests, editing of existing tests, deletion, export, and import of tests. The software gives the possibility to create or modify one of the predefined tests. Pressing the New Test button will take you to a window with a multiple selection menu that will allow you, by entering a few parameters, to create a specific test. The parameters to be entered will be covered in the following chapters regarding the conduct of specific tests. By pressing Confirm, the test will appear in the Customize Tests section. The special filter will facilitate its identification. It is also possible to edit an existing test. By selecting the icon on the right, Edit Test, you can change the setting of a predefined test. If you need to perform several tests of the same type, with different setting execution, you must select the desired test and use the Duplicate Test button to create a copy of it and edit it. To give an example, in the list of predefined tests, there is a treadmill test gait at 3 km/h. When creating my battery of tests, I need to create several analysis sessions for the same test, but at different speeds at 5 km/h. Select the base test and create a copies of it. This copy is located into the Customize Test section. Select the test and press Edit Test icon to change the settings. In this case, we need to change title and speed from 3 to 5 km/h. When I press Save, the test will be inserted into the database under the heading Customize Test according to the specifications entered. As we have seen, the test section has 3 menu items. The third and last refers to the creation and modification of a protocol. The protocols created by the user are only a group of tests and do not have a single view of the data unique report. For analysis, they must be viewed individually or using the comparison and evolution functions. It is important to know that deleting a protocol does not delete the tests and results, but only the link of the individual tests with your own protocol. We will therefore find the tests performed by the patients as individual tests, no longer connected to the protocol. The previously performed tests can be retrieved at any time by accessing the results area. The results section is divided into 2 levels. The first level, which is accessed via the main results icon, presents a list of all tests performed divided by username, test name, and date. On the left-hand side of the screen, there are always several options for entering useful filters to search for a particular test. The second level is the display of 1 or more tests. To enter, you must move a test with the right side arrow and click View. This selection gives access to the test and allows the display of all data collected during the performance of a test. Should you wish to compare more than 2 tests, 2 specific functions area available, which allows you to select an unlimited number of tests to check their parameters. But let us look in detail at the features and the different options within the display page of a single test. The results screen is characterized by several levels. The first, to the left of the screen, presents a timeline that intuitively shows how the test has performed over time. Immediately below, a selection menu allows you to configure, print, and save all the analyses performed in the most common formats. At the top of the second central screen, there are 1 or 2 windows for viewing the test via a video recording. This type of video support is of great help to the user in the immediate detection of postural or motor problems and, more generally, in the qualitative analysis of the patient's movement. Thanks to the video memory, any anomalies in the numerical data can be easily identified and explained. The video images are synchronized with the data. This makes it possible to ascertain exactly what happened when a value was recorded. Clicking on the video window takes you to a video analysis utility containing classic tools such as lines, arcs, circles, text, ruler, protractor to measure angles, and more. The third level of the results screen features the graphical representation of the performance and, in this case, as it is a gait analysis, also a gait report updated in real time. In addition to the numerical data, an identification system shows in real time any anomalies represented by the colors yellow if the problematics is slight, red if the problem being analyzed is serious. Clicking on the icon takes you directly to the gait and muscular function section, which allows you to align the detected parameters with the scientific literature. This section will be discussed later. The fourth level at the bottom graphically represents the steps moved by the patient. The visualization is very detailed because a 2D system was used in this case. On the biofeedback module, the patient sees some basic test parameters in real time on a second monitor. It will be a large TV or a tablet placed in front of a treadmill. The main difference between a normal tests is that this is just a very fast start and run module with a minimal user interface, designed to be used directly by the end patient for minimizing asymmetry or increasing stride length. The patient trains and uses the system as a diagnostic tool directly coordinated by your own personal trainer. First, you need to select which of the 3 types of tests currently available you want to perform, clicking on one of the 3 buttons on the second monitor or on a new window if you only have one monitor brings up the biofeedback user interface. To start a test, press the New button and press the Start button. By clicking on the menu command, we can decide whether to work in asymmetry mode or absolute values mode, whether the data is updated with a window of a few data points or a longer one, and whether we want to display the standard user interface or the Opto for Kids user interface. Clicking on the black triangle on the left opens the Thresholds panel. For example, you can set the bad threshold and warning threshold percentage, respectively red and orange, by dragging the dividing border up or down. Other parameters such as reference foot, treadmill speed, and metronome are available by clicking the second mark on the right of the screen. Please refer to section 4.5 of the manual for further details. The first screen shows a general video in which an animated anatomical model shows the muscle activation in the various step phases. The play button activates an animation that shows the different muscle activations and highlights the muscles involved in the different step phases. At the top of the screen, a window allows you to select one of the 5 phases of the stride cycle: stance, swing, single support, loading response, or pre-swing. Once selected, a second menu provides access to 3 different menus: muscle activation, functions, and deviations. The muscle activation menu shows for each body district the 3 body parts, such as calf, pelvis, and thigh, involved in muscle activation, with the activation time of each specified, relative to the total phase. The Gantt chart below shows the different muscles when they act in relation to each other. Clicking on the Functions tab lists all possible motor functions: plantar flexion, dorsiflexion, rotation, eversion, etc., associated with that phase for each body part. By clicking on a single row in the grid, individual muscles are displayed with their activation times. A short video showing only the body part in question and the chosen phase is also available. Finally, the last menu is a collection of deviations from normal physiology, broken down by different body parts. By selecting a single line, possible causes and practical meanings are displayed below. Note that this tool should only be used as an encyclopedia and never as a diagnostic tool. At the end of the test, OptoGait presents a dedicated report detailing all measured parameters with graphical and numerical representation. This section is accompanied by a mini-guide that explains in clear detail how to read and interpret the collected data. Further details will be provided in the next section in the chapters dedicated to specific tests on gait analysis. The development of these new reports was based on 2 main principles: improve communication, further integrate the optoelectronic systems with the data coming from JICO, our inertial system. Reports integrate data in a simpler visualization with new features, new icons, and new charts. The new design was created to facilitate understanding and reading. A start page summarizes the data by putting them in relation to the tests to create a new way of communication between experts, athletes, and patients. Thanks to the collaboration with experts and scientists of the sector, we have included for the different types of movement new interesting parameters, mostly coming from the integration of the inertial sensor.